Welcome back to GSRC's coverage of the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Eagle Round 3 from Snetterton. We apologize for the technical difficulties. Qualifying has just started up. Let's go ahead and get right into our points overlays. Let's take a look at that. We'll start with the F1 driver standings. Now, the Sintra sensation, Yao Valverde, has a win and a second-place finish so far this season, but he's not here as of now, so we'll see how this plays out. Michael Hofladezen is, however, who sits in second. He's got a second and a fourth. Surprisingly, David Third Degree Burns has yet to find a podium. A win in round 2 is enough to rocket the Swede with speed. Alex Jansson up 12 spots into fourth. But again, Alex talked about his do-it-yourself pedals that he's going to build, so we're not sure if he's going to be able to race much more with us this season. He is so far not here yet. David Butelar and Rodrigo Capoletto are tied for the final spot on the overlay. Let's go to F2 driver standings, and that's where you see Michael Hofladezen again. He is an F2 ranked driver, so he leads that one comfortably by, 9 points over Ludwig Sauer, who's 9th overall in the standings. Christian Grule is down there. He's had a disappointing 23rd place finish last time out. Daniel Solo made his season debut for round 2, posting a 12th place finish. That's enough for him to jump way up in the standings. And Paulo Prado was out on the first lap at Monza. He sits in 5th. Let's finally look at the team championships. David Third Degree Burns and Vincent Bream won the day at Monza for Two Stupid Dogs. Josh Brain chipped in 11 place points. Add with that to Alex Jansson's winning share, and NHR Esports were second at Monza and up 5 spots to crack the overlay, now in 4th. Top of the chart, Team Talent was 3rd best on the day at the last time out. Mr. Excitement Liam Quinn was not so exciting, finishing outside the points. Am Racing drops a spot down into 3rd, and Dennis Garrison needs to find a partner to make Virtual Motorsports a legitimate threat to get the team championship. Okay, the points are done. We've shown you a little bit of the track. Let's go ahead and talk about the event details. Sam?
Yeah, here we go. It's just the 3rd round of a 7-race long championship, which means if you really plan on contending for the title, you better be at all 7 races, and you probably don't want to get involved in any incidents. Every round is going to count. These drivers are going to be hoping for a good qualifying position. That's what they're out here doing right now. You see, we are in the 16th season of this series. It's been running for quite a while. Johan van den Velde doing a very good job at keeping it going. Race distance, every race is 60 minutes long, so we're going to have somewhere between 30 or 40 laps around here today, and they are going to have to make pit stops. It turns out that these drivers with the reduced fuel capacity end up having to pit about every 20 minutes, so it will end up being a 2-stop race, although this is a bit of a slower course, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some drivers try and stretch their fuel a little bit. There is an incident cap. If you get 24 incident points, you can get those from running off course or getting involved in incidents with other drivers or spinning around. If you get 24 of those, iRacing will kick you out of a race. It's done automatically, and that won't be doing your championship chances any good.
For many series that we carry here on GSRC, a 16-car field would be about normal size, but as far as absolute beginner standards in Formula Eagle, this is a really tiny field. I guess, Sam, probably maybe a lot of drivers maybe not familiar, don't have this track, aren't used to it. I guess that's what would be the reason why we're so small.
Yeah, well, like I say, I've known this track quite well my whole life because I kind of grew up near here. But yeah, it's a relatively new circuit on the iRacing service. It's, you know, to a lot of outsiders of England, it shares similar characteristics of tracks such as Brands Hatch or Alton Park, you know, a twisty little circuit built in the British countryside, which is, you know, it's technical, it's small, it's definitely fun, can create some good racing. But at the same time, not always well known. You know, it's not a modern day Grand Prix course in motorcycle or four-wheel racing. You know, we don't see MotoGP tearing up this circuit, but it does put on good races. Like I mentioned, can get a little bit processional during the infield section, but here on the front straight, plenty of good passing opportunities, and also down the back straight in the run into Brundle. Very easy to make a pass stick there, although that chicane is very tricky to get right. This circuit definitely not without its challenges.
For those who don't know, Sam left his native England for warmer climes of North Carolina. So he's feeling a little homesick. Sam, why don't you take a look at the weather, see what it'll be like back home?
Yeah, this is the one thing iRacing hasn't quite got right yet, is that it's a nice day here. Oh, well, I take that back. We got a strong wind. It's not a perfect day. Strong wind coming from the west there at 13 miles an hour. In these lighter open-wheel cars, it's definitely going to affect these drivers a little bit, and that might be why we've seen so many spins recently. And it should be worth noting, Bill, I wouldn't be surprised if a grid gets mixed up a little bit here, because we only have a 10-minute qualifying session. All 16 cars are out there on track at the same time, so they have to contend with one another. And if they do so much as put a wheel off here in qualifying, their lap time doesn't count. So right now we've got Michael Hafler-Dason with the provisional pole, but behind him there might be some drivers out of place.
Absolutely. It's a May 15th on iRacing's virtual calendar, and the virtual standard time of about 3:30 in the afternoon, at least during practice. We'll see how it is when we actually go racing. We're looking at Juice Junk. Boy, he put on quite a show last round. Did not get the results he would have wanted, but man, he was exciting. That's kind of what happened to him last time. He was quick, but had trouble keeping the car on the track.
Yeah, and so as you see him coming up to Hamilton here, so he's in the infield portion of the circuit, that obviously will discount his qualifying time, as would that if he had ran wide of that corner on a hot lap. So that's what these drivers are up against. They have to get everything absolutely clean to be able to get a time on. And as a result, we actually have 3 drivers right now who are sitting outside of the league's 110% rule, meaning you pretty much have to qualify within 6 or 7 seconds of a pole sitter for the league to determine you're quick enough to race during this race. I wonder if that's going to be enforced, because right now we're at 16 cars and only 13 of them are within a few seconds of Michael Hafler-Dason's pole time.
One of those in trouble is Johan Vanderbilt, who is just getting back from a birthday party. I was talking to him yesterday. We did a broadcast together. We rolled up in the booth. And he said, boy, I am really quick. It's just a matter if I can get home and get in a lap time here and get this done. So we wish him the best as he tries to quick enough to qualify. He was very impressed. He said, I'm faster than David Burns. Well, that's not the case right now, Johan, but I'm sure you'll pick it up. Right on board with the fan belt. Oops!
Well, he's got enough time to get back to the line for one more time to lap when the clock hits 0. I believe they'll still have time to finish any laps they're on. But yeah, right now he's not beating David Burns, because David Burns just jumped up to 2nd place with a 137.2. That puts him ahead of Dennis Garrison. Michael Hafler-Dason still sitting pretty, has a few tenth advantage over the rest of the field on provisional pole as the checkered flag is about to wave. And Johan Vanderbilt has one more chance to try and get it right.
Wish him the best of luck. We'll keep an eye on Vanderbilt. A driver to watch out for is a driver in 3rd right now. That would be Dennis Garrison, who just crashed his car. He has wins under his belt. He was very impressive last season. We'll see how he does here today. He's going to sit inside of row 2. We continue to watch the fan belt. His best time so far is a 1:48.8. He looks to better that. I think that's going to be an easy thing if you can just keep the car on the track.
Ludwig Sauer just completed another lap. Didn't improve his time though. So he's in 6th place. I think Vanderbilt. Oh no, we got one Louise Falcon and Johan Vanderbilt, I believe, are the only 2 cars still out there on time laps. And Falcon has spun, so he'll start no better than 15th. What can Vanderbilt do? That's the one position we still have left to settle. Like we say, he can't make a mistake here. He can't mess up. If he so much as puts a wheel off, even if he continues, he will be starting from the back of the field today.
We talked about the 110% rule. With such a small field, maybe they can let that slide here today. We could use all the drivers that we can get, although lap traffic is probably going to be a factor. We keep an eye on Vanderbilt as he gets to finish out this hot lap.
As long as he can get Murray's right, Bill, although he was a bit deep coming in the brakes there. He's This is a clean lap. It's been a good lap. I don't know where it's going to put him, but he won't be last anymore. I'm pretty certain of that. Here he goes.
Yeah, he moves. There we go. That'll get him in there as he moves up quite a bit, knocking off almost 10 seconds off of his time. All right, well, with qualifying done, let's go ahead and give you the grid now with a small field. Sam, you and I can take it a row at a time. On the pole, it is the F2 points leader. He sits seconds in the F1 points. That's Miguel Hoflades, and he's going to be flanked by David Third-Degree Burns. Sam?
Dennis Garrison will be starting from third position ahead of Juice Jonk.
Watch out for Jonk. He is exciting. Vincent Bream, one of the two stupid dogs, teamed up with David Third-Degree Burns. He's going to be in the fifth position. He's flanked by Rodrigo Capoletto.
Ludwig Sauer will be starting from 7th position, and right behind him will be Johan van den Belt, 6th, 7th, and 8th, covered by just 0.02 of a second.
Bambi sits in 9th, Neil Bamber, inside of the Strudelmeister Thomas Kick.
Here we go to page number 2. These drivers got their work cut out for them. Fabian Jungbluth rolling off from 11th ahead of John Morgan.
Richard Colomb in the Baker's Dozen spot. The Brazilian driver, Paulo Pareto, out there in 14th.
And then starting from the back row of the grid, providing they're permitted to start, will be Josh Brain and one Louise Falcon rounding out a 16-car field.
To quote the Bad News Bears, let them play! Come on, we need everybody out there. 16 drivers showed up today. Let's see if they can all be allowed to race. All of our attention, though, will be on the man in front, racing out of Sweden. It is Mikael Hoflades. The weather is good. The fans are happy. Soup and Sandwich is here to call the action. 60 minutes of racing, 2 pit stops. Look beneath the car. Oh, I like that. The roadkill camera. I like that one. Look at that beautiful English sky up there pushing down on our racetrack. Michael Hoflades from the pole says, good luck, everybody. Have fun. Everyone chirps in. That'll be the end of the conversation, as it's going to be quiet when it's time to go racing. 2 races in the books. Let's get race 3 underway. The Absolute Beginner Formula Eagle's been around on GSRC for many seasons. You can hear those engines start to harmonize. You know what to do. Gather up the chickens, take cover on the cows, because the horses are out of the barn, and it is indeed Michael Hoflades leading the stampede down into the sweeping right-hander. That is corner number 1. David Burns slots into 2nd. Dennis Garrison is under attack for 3rd, but he's going to be able to hang on to that one. No, it's Juice Jonk got it. I correct myself. Jonk moves up to 3rd, Garrison in 4th, and then Vanderbilt rounding out your top 5.
Working their way through Wilson. That's a hairpin 1 car off. That's Ludwig Sauer. He's going to drop multiple positions after qualifying 17th, drop all the way back to around 15th. And there we see him recovering at the back there. But Michael Hoflades leads them into the infield. That's the place you want to be, because there's really not a lot of passing opportunities around here. These drivers will probably be line astern, maybe trying to get each other set up for a pass when they come out to the back straight out of this right-hander here, and on the run down to Brundle.
Right-hander, 1 more right-hander to go until they get to the back straight. Up in front, trying to leave them all behind, is Mikael Hoflades. He's quick. Can he get the car to the end? That's always been his question. Burns in 2nd. Jonk in 3rd. Will Garrison make an attack on Jonk? Not yet. Those 2 drivers are very excited. Boy, look at Garrison close right up on the back of the blue and yellow machine. Cannot get it done. Watching the whole thing happen is Vanderbilt. And there's a mistake from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt moves on the inside. As they are side by side, I think the mistake happened there to Garrison. They continue to race side by side for 4th position.
Vandenbeld really on the move here on this opening lap, but Garrison will hold on to the position. So 4th place Garrison, 5th place Vandenbeld, but he's already up 3 positions from where he started.
And he's not done yet. Here he comes. Down into corner number 1, he has the position. Boy, he puts the right hand on the curves, the right-hand wheels on the curves. He gets it wound up. All this side-by-side racing has let Vincent Bream get into the mist. And Capoletto, that's Bream in the yellow car, trying to go on the outside of Vanderbilt. Great racing back here for 4th position. Now Vanderbilt trying to hold them all off for 5th. Capoletto in there as well. Here comes Bambi in the white car in 8th.
Yeah, this pack actually is stacked up all the way back to 10th place with Fabian Jungbluth. And they go, once again, they're in the infield part here, so they got this left-hander, Hamilton, then they got 2 right-handers leading them back out onto the back straight, the tricky chicane, and oh, very deep there goes Capoletto, almost ran off.
That's Bambi right behind him, was going to try to make the move. We're right on board with Capoletto as he looks ahead at Vincent Brame, who pulls away after he made that mistake. The line was backed up, not because Garrison and Vanderbilt are not quick enough. It's just they were racing side by side for half a lap. It just slowed down their lap time. Everyone got in behind them. Now that they got this sorted out, they start to pull away from the guys who had closed up on them.
And to clarify, we got 15 cars started this race. Brain was able to start the race, even though his qualifying time wasn't fast enough. He ran a competitive enough time in practice, so they let him start. Juan Luis Falcon wasn't fast enough to make the start of a show, which right now is being led by Michael Hafler-Dason. Talking about going fast, he goes purple after lap 2, and well, I'm sure we'll see that time continue to fall as the race goes on.
You know, I don't want to speak it into reality. I don't want self-fulfilling prophecy, but I'm telling you, Hafler-Dason's biggest challenge is himself right now. Can he get the car clean to the end? He has seemed to have got that figured out over the last couple seasons. That was his modus operandi early on, though, was quick, but with a mistake.
Also, almost into the wall there in the background. Kalam almost, and he almost struggles again trying to get back on the track, and this time he does make slight contact with the wall. He's going to try and get back on though, but he's all the way back in 15th and last now.
Yeah, that was making a bad incident even worse. I think he was safe the initial spin, right, Sam? And then I guess never stay with it, because when he tries to get it back on, everything's fine. And I'm going to come out and whoop! So he needs to get out of the car and see if he can walk a straight line. All right.
He has gotten that car back out on track, and he's going to be carrying a little bit of damage from that, but you get 2 stops this race, so he'll be able to get that fixed.
Boy, they start to string out now. Kick has had an issue.
Yeah, and that's Rodrigo Capoletto having some kind of incident as a reaction. Paulo Credo also off, so I don't think there's been any major contact here, Bill, but it's definitely shaken the order up a bit.
Yeah, well, he comes right back on track right in front of Capoletto. Now, the Strudelmeister is a friend of the broadcast, but this one not that as we ride on board with Capoletto. Whoa! As we come back to Capoletto, he just made himself around the yellow car of Vincent Brame. Brame must have had some trouble as well. Brame was up in 5th position. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to him. Oh, he had an off. Yep.
You know, these track conditions aren't exactly the warmest, Bill, so we might be seeing a bit of cold tyres leading to issues here early on, as well as that heavy wind we were talking about, because definitely not much attrition early on here, but drivers are tallying up those incident points. Remember, they only get 24.
So far, it's a forgiving track. There's a lot of runoff. If you do get it loose, it seems like you don't get into the wall too quickly. Boy, the field is really beginning to stretch out now. Any battle that is going on is hard to find. Maybe we can check in on 13th position. This is Capoletto and Vincent Brame. Now, I believe Brame is probably faster than Capoletto, so I'm looking for him to run him down. Brame trying to make up for that mistake. They chase behind Paulo Credo races as well. Josh Brain just had an off. Maybe we want to get that one. It just happened as we speak.
Yeah, been running in 10th. Now you see him down there in 13th position.
This is kind of, Sam, this is what we're seeing. Just the track is winning right now. We'll watch Brain, who had worked his way up into the top 10.
Yeah, you say the field is spread out, Bill, but I don't expect it to stay that way forever. We've had so many cars, and you know, boy, you gotta love iRacing's graphics here with all the grass and dirt being kicked up in the air. But And also across the track, Josh Brain wasn't making any friends there, making the track a bit dirty. Where was the point I was going with? I'm sorry, the graphics distracted me. No, the fact that the field has spread out a bit, here we go, it's a bunch back up again, because a lot of these drivers out of order, you know, a lot of these drivers towards the back of cars that are spun, who are now going to make things interesting for us for certain, trying to rally their way back up through the field, hopefully not dirt rally.
Yeah, we're looking at Brame there is making a move over. We're on Sauer now. This is a good battle for 8th position. This is Morgan in 8th, Sauer coming up to 9th. You're right, Sam. A lot of drivers are not where they're supposed to be. You know what? I'm going to take you away from this one because I got even a hotter one. This one Sam was talking about before. Paulo Pareto and Vincent Brame. Brame just made his way around Brain and Brame together. They're killing the commentator here as they work off on behind Pareto.
Yeah, you saw that pass was completed there, going down into Brundle. Whoa, and that's not how to do it. Pareto gets hit from behind by Brame, and that's boy, just a different ways of attacking the chicane, and yeah.
A great view of this one will be, if we can look at it one more time after this, will be from Josh Brain's car. He was right behind it. He had a great view. Boy, you can see those two get together. Let's see if we can get one more look at it from Josh Brain. There's Josh right behind him. Now, kind of more. You be the driver. You picked out your racing line here.
Yeah. This is a track winning again, Bill. It's a different way of a track winning, but this chicane is so tricky. There's so many different ways to take it, and those two drivers they had different ways, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I think they're not going to be able to come back on this one. You know what? Let's go ahead and touch in up front, show you what's going on up there. Michael Hofladason, he's fast, and so far he has been smooth as dolphin skin. Out there leading by 3 seconds over David third-degree Burns. Burns has a 4-second lead on Dennis Garrison. Now remember, Garrison was in that battle with Vanderbilt early on. Well, Juice Junk now has moved up back into 4th position. Vanderbilt trying to get that spot. Maybe we can take a second and look at this one as Johan closing in on behind Junk. This will be fun.
Well, as we keep half an eye on this, I'll let you know the two drivers we just saw involved in a big incident are still out there on track. We've still got 15-car field. Hopefully they'll be able to get some repairs when they come in for their pit stop. As here we go down into the braking zone of Maurice. Junk still with a bit of a gap over Vandenbeld, but here, as they click off their lap times, Jonk runs a 1 minute 38.3, behind him Vandenbeld at a 1 minute 38.8. So Jonk was actually a little bit faster that time, but that could very much be because he has clean air in front of him.
With that cooling down a bit, let's quickly go to 9th position. This is Thomas Kick, the Strudelmeister, under attack by Fabian Youngbluth. Youngbluth takes a poke. Can't get there. Now he's going to lose momentum. He'll have to wait and try it one more time as they go down into the Wilson hairpin. Riding on board with Fabian. Look at the inside line that Youngbluth gets. Boy, he cannot get it done, but he's working left. He's working right, trying to find a way around Kick.
This is one passing opportunity right as they kind of go off into the infield section here. And it's left-hander, it's a heavy braking zone. Some drivers have different ways of approaching that. However, Jean-Bluth can't make anything happen with Kick. So now they go into Hamilton. This left-hander is really not a place where you can make a move, but you can start setting up a move. And we've seen this happen a few times already today, where if Jean-Bluth is on the throttle now, he might be able to do something with Kick by the time they get to the chicane. However, looks like Kick has the advantage.
Head down onto the back straight.
And there's been a change there. There's been a change for 5th, Bill. Johan Vandenbeld must have had an off or something, because Neil Bamber is now in that spot. And speaking of offset, we see another one. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened to Vandenbeld.
Yeah, I caught the tail and it looks like he had two. I saw him get loose, looked like in the hairpin. Let's see where we are here. If this is the one I saw. I think that's the one. Yeah, he comes around. He had been chasing Juice Junk trying to get there, but now he loses his spot to Bamber.
Yes, this track takes some practice to get it exactly right. I mean, we know Johan's fast. He's proven that he's been fast throughout this race. But, you know, that lack of practice could be hurting him on consistency, and that's maybe why we see him down in 6th right now. But still a long way to go. He'll be learning about this track every lap.
He left the party to get here. He's got to be thinking, gee, I should have stayed at the party. I don't think he left the party to spin the car and finish 6th.
Well, let's not also forget, though, Bill, I mean, 6th out of 15 cars isn't that impressive.
He hits a Bambi like he's venison.
Yeah,
there goes
did Bambi slow it down?
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there with Bamber, but yeah, he was really slow. So he gives that spot back to Vanderbilt.
All right, so Vanderbilt up to 5th, but to finish up my point here, Bill, even though 5th out of 15th, you know, it's not too impressive, especially if you want to fight for a championship or something. It's still a 5th place finish, and we've had a couple of races, we've only had a couple of races this year, but the fields were a lot bigger, and, you know, a 5th place is still going to pay decent points, so you can take that with you and run to the last 4 races of the season.
All right, let's go check in. I'm going to jump you around. This is we're going to go to Youngbluth now as he gets the best of Paulo Prado. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a Prado's a lap down. That was not a pass for position.
Haven't checked in on the driver behind Youngbluth in a little while. That's Rodrigo Capelledo. He ran into issues very early on. He started 6th. And is currently down in 10th, so he's one driver. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him make passes later on. The same with Vincent Bream. I know we saw him involved in the big incident which could have damaged his car, but let's not forget he qualified 5th, so he's still out there turning 139, so he might be able to pick off a few more positions by the time the checkered flag falls. That's still a long way away though, Bill. What will be coming up soon is pit stops.
Before we get to that, Sam, for the sake of the viewers, the way we've been jumping them around a bit, maybe we can catch our breath. Director, let's go through the field here. I'll take 5 at a time. We'll start with Michael Hofladason. He's up in front. He's got 5 seconds on David Burns. They have been racing this way for the entire race. Dennis Garrison sits in 3rd. He's about 4 seconds back of Burns. He's got a mile back to Juice Junk. Junk is in 4th. And then rounding out your top 5 as the man is going up and down the grid. That is Johan Vanderbilt. Okay, Sam, who you got for the second half of the top there?
Well, we've got Neil Bamber running in 6th place right now, but I don't know for how much longer, because he does seem to be a little bit off the pace as he clicks off another lap. He runs a 1:39.0, but the car behind him, Ludwig Sauer, is coming in a hurry at a 1:38.8, so Sauer in 8th place right now. Josh Morgan, one driver who's probably had a bit of a quieter race today, although I think everyone's been involved in some kind of drama. He's running in 8th position, however, just a few seconds down the road for him, 5 to be exact, is Fabian Youngbluth in 9th, and then rounding out the top 10 is Rodrigo Capelledo trying to rebound from early troubles.
And then we wrap out the rest of the cars that are on the lead lap. Thomas Kick is back in 11th. We've seen him have his issues, as has Josh Brain, who races in 12th position. And there's another driver who's been on and off the track, Richard Cologne, back in 13th. Last car out there still racing on the lead lap, Vincent Brain. So that's the 14 cars on the lead lap. Paulo Prado is a lap down. Pit stop should be coming anytime. Let's give a shout out, though, to the driver in 8th, John Morgan. You talked about it. He is up 4 spots, and really, that's a pretty good accomplishment here today. In fact, I think he's probably our hard charger.
He's also the driver I don't think we've mentioned at all today, which is an accomplishment in its own, given the way this race has gone.
Well, he's got a fast driver behind him, Neil Bamber. Again, another one of those drivers like Vanderbilt who's up. There goes Bamber is off. Right behind Morgan. We can see if you scan back 1 spot. There he is. Bamber was just closing up on the back of Morgan and then went off to graze a bit.
Yeah, Bamber's going to lose a couple of spots over that. Good thing this track isn't in Wales or the Isle of Man or something. Probably would have knocked a couple of sheep over down there, but hey, he gave Coram some respect. Didn't run over his sign.
This is why you don't want to leave this race. You got Hoffler, Dazen, Burns, and Garrison. They look to have it their own way, but the way this race is going, the track can come out and slap you at any moment.
Yeah, I'm going to be pessimistic about this race, Bill. I think we're going to lose a couple of drivers by the end from hitting that 24 incident limit cap.
Yeah.
Because even the leaders, I see them running off, and even though they're not spinning, that's going to count against you.
With some big names not here today, Janssen and Valverde, it's going to open up the points championship to a lot of other drivers. A guy who can make hay is Michael Hofledason, the Swede. Up in front, he's been coming on. He is classified, believe it or not, as an F2 driver because his I rating is so low. But boy, he has really got this this Dallara F3 car figured out.
Vincent Bream has became our first retirement. Remember, he'd been carrying a lot of damage from earlier, so I don't know if that got to him or if he had some other kind of incident, but that takes his field down to 14 cars.
We are riding on board with, there it is, Hofledason, our leader. You talked about Vincent Bream. He's teamed up with David Third Degree Burns for Two Stupid Dogs. The Bream and Burns team has been around for a long time, doing really well in the team championship right now. Not going to have a good day today, though. This is fun. We get to watch Hofledason negotiate the track.
Battle for 11th place. Josh Brain looking on the outside of Neil Bamber as Brain tries to recover from his poor qualifying effort. Neil Bamber's been going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Started 9th, down in 11th, and struggling to hold on to that right now.
It was just a little while ago we saw Bamber up there working with Vanderbilt. But boy, that car is going the wrong direction, like you said. He is heading south on the timing and scoring chart. Josh Brain, always competitive in the F2 championship. Racing in 12th, looking to get some points. It's going to be a good points day for all these drivers, though, as the points pay down, I believe, to 20th in the Formula Eagle. I have to double check that to make sure. But everyone should get some points today. We ride on board with Josh Brain.
Going purple there at the top of the screen, Michael Hafler-Dason. Obviously, the car's a bit lighter now as the fuel has burned off. Tyres never really a massive concern in these cars. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some drivers electing not to take tyres at all. One downside, of course, to taking tyres is they're going to be very cold when you take them out on the racing track, and we saw how well that panned out at the start of the race.
Oh, there's a
trouble on Morris. Yeah, that's Thomas Kick. Neil Bamber's gone around. Thomas Kick hopping through the grass.
What a great view, again, from Thomas Kick when we take a look at this. First, we'll look at what Bamber had to do. Thomas Kick had a windscreen of this one. There he goes. And Kick had to go off onto the grass. Look at that. Here we go. This is fun. This is where you get to be the driver. You decide whether you want to go underneath or around the top. You just got to hope the car doesn't roll into you. You make the decision. I don't think he really had much choice if the car wasn't going to go to the left anyway. That's his only option. Worked out for him. We come back to Thomas Kick in 11th now. Looking at Josh Brain.
And into the pits comes Ali. Then he crashes. He's blocking pit entry. I hope no one else is trying to come in. Michael Hafler-Dason trying to do a 5-point turn between two walls. Look at this. They're getting stuck behind him. It's a traffic jam.
Burns came in and he had to do nothing but sit and park and wait. It didn't cost him too much time for Burns, maybe 4 or 5 seconds, not near as much as Hofledason. Fortunately, those are the only two drivers who came. Well, no. Juice John came in, but he was not slowed down by the incident.
Wait, is Burns going to beat Hafler-Dason? Now he is, because Hafler-Dason's taking tyres, getting repairs. Burns puts fuel in the car and goes.
Hofledason is still sitting there. I'm telling you, junk is out. I did not mean to talk it into reality, but that has been the Achilles heel of Hofledason. Fast, but something always seems to happen to him.
A lot of drivers coming in. Van den Belde as well. Haflidason still sitting there. How bad is the damage to his car?
Now the question will be Dennis Garrison, who was racing in third, was only maybe 4 or 5 seconds behind Burns. Burns had to wait up while Haflidason negotiated clearing pit entrance. Garrison has a real chance maybe at jumping Burns for the lead. Let's go ahead and take a look at that pit entrance right now, because that was exciting, and that could be the turning point of the race. And you saw it when it happened. Look at it, Haflidason.
So tempted to do a Maury Walker impersonation here, Bill.
Here he brings it in. Everything was going fine. And then he Austin Powers it.
He's just got that tiny little gate on the other side of a wall there, making it a bit of a headache for him.
Okay. Garrison is in the pits now. We're looking there at Haflidason. I'd like to pick up Burns. Burns is on the front straight. Garrison is rolling. There goes Burns. He's going to be able to get around Garrison. Garrison is going to slide out, I believe, in second, safely ahead of, who would it be? Well, I guess it'd be Sauer, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
But it is closer than it is before, though, Bill. You mentioned the gap of being around 3 or 4 seconds, and Burns is off! Burns is in the grass. He's sliding. Is he going to lose the lead? Yes, he is. Dennis Garrison has been gifted the lead from back in third position.
Oh, I love this racetrack. These drivers don't, but as a fan, this is just so much fun. You don't know what's going to happen. The second time our leader has had a problem. First it was Haflidason, then it's Burns. He makes the mistake. Dennis Garrison says, "Thank you very much."
Great driving, though, by Burns to recover that.
Yeah, good news for Garrison. He's out in front. The bad news is Burns is really fast. Garrison is really going to have to work hard to stay in front of Burns. The pit stops are all done. Let me run you through how they go. We'll go quickly through the field this time, Director. Garrison is your leader by 1.2 seconds. That won't be long. Burns is coming. In third position is Juice Junk, who had a nice, safe pit stop. The fourth spot belongs to Ludwig Sauer. He's made his stop. He goes along Paulo Prado, who's a lap down. Johan van der Belt races in fifth. He's coming. The back half of your top 10 is John Morgan, Fabian Youngbluth. Now he's got Mikael Haflidason right behind him. That may be changing soon. 9th and 10th, Josh Brain and Thomas Kick. There you have it. I was fast, but I wanted to tell you how things sorted out.
And Haflidason almost getting on the inside of Fabian Youngbluth as they run through Bomb Hole. It got quite close. Let's see what happens here out of Maury's.
Yeah, Haflidason is going to be quick. He should be able to get this. He has the this little left-hander coming up, and now he'll be on the throttle. I expect him to get this pass made on Youngbluth. Youngbluth will not put up much of a fight. This is going to be a much pass made on much as reputation as it is pace. There goes Haflidason. Move him up into 7th.
Now Haflidason in pursuit of our eventual race winner, John Morgan, in 6th.
Let's check back in on...
Morgan is one driver who... Oh, we got a car stopped. Capoletto is just stopped in the grass. He's had some kind of spin and he's not in a hurry to recover it.
Look at this one, and I can tell you what that was going on. Sawyer also had a spin. Capoletto is parked. Sawyer had a spin and lost a position, I believe, to Van den Belt. So now Van den Belt, the birthday party boy, is up into 4th. Yeah, it's working out for him. I got to go up front, though, real quick, because I told you he was coming. There's only a second now between Garrison and Burns. The question is, can both these drivers keep the car on the pavement? Burns is faster. It will not take him long to get on the back of Garrison.
But, that being said, Garrison actually clicked off a bit of a faster lap that time by. Burns didn't get a very good run out of Maury's, I don't think, which contributed to that.
Go through the Wilson hairpin now, back on the throttle. Interval is just under a second.
In battle for sixth place, Haflidasen's got a run on John Morgan down the front straight, is easily going to make that pass stick with the slipstream. And so Haflidasen will now be running down Ludwig Sauer for fifth.
Sauer maybe has a little bit better pace than the guys of Morgan and Youngblood, who he just got around. So it might take Haflidasen a little longer to get up to Ludwig.
When you see him come up to a car just sitting here on the left, that's still Caballero, still just sitting there off a racetrack.
We'll go on more with our leader now. It is down to under 0.8 of a second. You can see the numbers between those two graphics there as Burns is coming. But like my dad always said, it's like milking the rooster. The hard part starts after you catch it. Burns can get to Garrison, but can he pass him?
But was your dad ever actually able to make milk come out of a rooster?
I didn't press the issue. Some things you just don't want to know. 0.8 of a second between Burns and Garrison.
No, that sounds like something Garrison doesn't want to know.
No. Garrison is slick, though. He has a lot of experience. He was best in class last season behind Alex Janssen. Janssen just crushed everybody, but Garrison was very impressive. Was the only driver to actually beat Janssen last season, and did it when Janssen was on the track. But right now he's got Burns. Burns loves this car. He is comfortable in this Dallara F3. Burns has been quick. Everyone says he's kind of the benchmark of the drivers. He just has not been able to put in a good result. I talked about it in the opening, surprisingly, yet to have a podium. Right now he races in second. One more pit stop left. Now remember, when you have a two-stop race, you don't really know how much fuel each driver put in on the first time. There's no rule that says they have to fill it all the way up and then splash it go. They can short fill on that first one, take a little more later.
Battle for 7th place shaping up as well. John Morgan has been progressively losing the positions that he gained through the first half of the race. I think he's lost a spot every lap, the last 2 or 3 laps. And unfortunately might lose another one here, the Fabian Youngblood in the coming turn.
I really do like the way John Morgan is racing. It's a good opportunity to give him some screen time. He's been racing nice and clean, just doing what he needs to do in 7th. Youngblood has been up and down the standings. Nothing going on up front, so we can stay on this one for a while.
Oh, that got very close there. Johan Vandenbeld is off. They're both going by him. Yep. Vandenbeld was in 4th. He's got damage to his front wing. And,
this one goes all the way back.
Yeah, this happened a lot earlier in the lap. We might be able to just see the replay of him going off here, but I think he already had damage by this point.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. Yeah.
Yeah, right now as we speak, Johan's actually coming into the pits, and this is going to be unscheduled because he ain't going to be able to make it to the end from here.
Nope. Well, now he's wishing that he stayed at the party. Look at this battle that our director has found on screen. Morgan and Youngblood. And I can just tell you that up front, we are still safe. Garrison has the pass. But we got to find the pass. Director Burns was able to get around Garrison. Boy, that happened fast. Did he make a mistake?
I think he has, because he's so far back of Burns. We'll get a replay of this. But yeah, this looks like... All
right, now. Let's watch. Yep, there's the mistake. See you later.
Exactly what Burns did earlier, how he got the lead to start with.
Well, the racing gods, we're going to look at it one more time from Garrison. They're sprinkling all the problems around. Woo! And just like Burns, Sammy got it right back out on track.
Something tells me this isn't the last time we've seen someone make that mistake
Yep.
today. So it's Burns, Garrison, Yonk, and then there's a close battle for 8th. There's also a close battle for 4th as well. But here we go. This one's changing right now.
Young Bluth gets the best of Morgan. Little by little, Morgan falling back. I think we can leave this one now because that one is over. I think Young Bluth's going to drive away. Let's go up to 4th. This is Ludwig Sauer. We said it would take a while for Hoffladason to get there. Well, got there a little faster than I thought.
Oh, he got there last. Oh, and here he goes down the inside. Not sure if he'll be able to make it work here, but maybe if he can stay there, he'll be able to scare Sauer out in Hamilton. No, that's not going to happen. But they're only a few turns away from Brundle, but Hoffladason doesn't want to wait that long. He shoots it down the inside. Let's see if Sauer's going to have a comeback, though, as they go into the chicane. Last lap around, Hoffladason got right on the rear wing of Sauer through the Brundle chicane. He was much late on the brakes. There was almost contact. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hoffladason's late on the brakes again. He might be able to pull away, but Sauer's going to make it tricky for him. Almost take a line away. Sauer goes way off. Hoffladason's off too, but he's able to recover, and Sauer definitely comes off worst in that battle.
Let's stay on Sauer for a bit because here comes Fabian Youngbluth. I believe Sauer's going to get it revved back up, and Youngbluth is going to tuck right in behind him. This is battle for 5th. So Hoffladason drives away, and with Vanderbilt having his issues, we better stay on the battle for 5th because it continues. We stay on this one. With Vanderbilt having his issues, that moves Hoffladason now up to new. Where does he sort up? Is that 4th position now?
Yeah, the bad news for Hoffladason is there's 20 seconds of nothing ahead of him before he gets to Juice Jonk. Alright, I'm a little concerned about this battle for 5th about to come up because I don't think that attempt in the chicane was ever wrong for Sauer. The lap before, Hoffladason had been way late on the brakes and Sauer was trying to outbrake someone who had proven earlier that he was better on the brakes than him. So I think, oh, who was that off? That was Hoffladason. Hoffladason just had a spin. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Sauer was right to be putting Hoffladason under pressure. You might as well put everyone under pressure today because everyone seems prone to a mistake.
This is a fun one too. Once he gets the car spin, he does it in reverse a little bit here. He races backwards for a while. This is fun. And then the car just rolls back a little bit, and he just rolls it off the grass.
It's a good thing we don't have to make highlight reels for this series.
Oh my gosh. So that moves Sawyer back up into 4th, Youngbluth in 5th, John Morgan in 6th, and Hoffladason's got to do it again. It's like a Sisyphus in high heels, making his job a lot harder than it needs to be as he continues to try to push the boulder. He's got to go around Morgan, Youngbluth, and Sawyer again.
And they're all very close on track. 4th to 7th place now are only separated by a few seconds.
Yeah, they're all there.
And none of them are finishing this lap in the order they started it.
Now, Burns has tried his very best to run away from Dennis Garrison. That has not been the case. In fact, after Garrison had the spin that surrendered the lead, he had fallen back about 1.5 seconds. He's chopped that off about 2/3. He's only about a second back now. Has the pace to race with Burns. I don't know if he can get around.
This is a much narrower pit window than I anticipated earlier, Bills, and these drivers will be getting ready for their second stop within the next few laps.
Well, they went pretty long. Did they get? I guess they did go, so it should be pretty soon. You're right, as we get down to the 20-minute mark here. Watching that battle for the lead. Lots of good racing going on. We got one eye on this and one eye on the other stuff. But actually, let's stay up front here because Garrison is really closing in. Who has not spun? Who have we not seen have trouble? Juice Junk, maybe? John Morgan? I don't remember much issues from him. Everybody else has seen some of the British countryside. Boy, look at Garrison.
You know a race has been crazy when Juice Drunk is a driver who's had the quiet race.
I I was thinking the same thing. So, does Garrison force the issue before the before pits? Maybe. I guess if you can get it, go ahead and take it. He's got the pace now. We'll stay on this one because this is exciting. There might be other stuff going on back behind in that Sawyer and Youngbluth, but we'll stay with it. Yes, Sawyer is under attack from Youngbluth, but I really want to stick with this pass for the lead. This is the important one. They head into this little chicane. What is this chicane called, Sam? This is Brundle and those two corners. Do you remember?
I've just been calling it Brundle.
Oh, okay.
I don't sound too professional there. I don't exactly know that's the name, but that's what I've always called it. And now they're going through Bombhole, into Morries, back out onto the front straight, which probably has a name too. That's one thing. British club tracks love to do. The smaller tracks is name every single turn on the track after a driver or a feature. It definitely helps build communities around these places. I mean, this is the kind of racing that's almost equivalent to your local short track oval racing you get in America, really. And you definitely build up communities here. I mean, this is watching this kind of racing at tracks like this is why so many open wheel wannabes in the Americas go to Europe to compete in series like this in real life. You definitely can build up some skills driving in these cars, because we've seen how tricky it is just to keep these virtual racing cars on the track today.
Yeah, it's the Bentley Straight that leads down into the left-hander that is Brundle. Then it's Nelson is that other one around there as you head then to the bump. So, there we go. I knew I'd seen it somewhere. All right, looks like Garrison is not going to be able to get to Burns right away. So let's look at Sauer and Youngbluth, race 4th and 5th. Hofladezen got Morgan for about the 4th time this race. John back there racing in 7th. Hofladezen now has about a second and a half to get to Youngbluth, and then another second to get up to Sauer. We have 10 cars still on the lead lap, the last one being Neil Bamber in 10th. Take a piece of Neil.
Yeah, it didn't report, but Johan van den Belt has officially retired from the race. I think we might be able to get a chat with him.
Let's go ahead and bring him in. Talk to Johan van den Belt here, who had big hopes. Johan, you left the party early. You gotta think maybe you should have stayed at the party a little longer.
Nah, every race in ABL is always fun. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of practice. The track was very warm compared to when I practiced yesterday. I didn't get a lot of laps in now, and that really wreaked havoc on my tires, on my braking. I had a few half spins because of that, because the car just snapped way more than I had it in the session yesterday. And yeah, I had a very good lap 1, but after that I just went downhill, Bill. And yeah, it's a shame to have crashed out, because I was on a good run with the other people making mistakes. I think I could have finished before, but if buts and maybes don't give you points.
Yeah, you were up and down the order for sure. Is it the track temperatures? Everybody's had an issue. Burns, Garrison, Sauer, Youngbluth, Hofladezen's had a few. Everybody's been off track. Track temperature is what's doing it.
I think it's a big factor. I also think it's a factor that Snetterton is new for a lot of drivers, and it's a very hard track as well. There's a lot of corners, for example, after the back straight or the last corner, that are very difficult to set yourself up, and I think a lot of drivers are struggling with setting themselves up, with keeping it consistent, and that's causing them to spin out, especially when you try to push and overtake and follow another.
All right, well, we'll get you out on this one. I'll make a little prediction here. Burns is always fast in these F3 cars, but Garrison has the experience and was so good last season. Who do you like between those two? They seem pretty evenly paced.
I'm a little biased because I'm a good friend of David. I'm gonna say put your money on David. He's always a very strong driver, and he has experience as well. Of course, not as much as Dennis, but David has been driving with us for 3-4 years now, and yeah. I will put my money on him.
Well, he's out in front. That's always a good bet. Hey, it was great. Glad to have you racing with us. Good luck down the road.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys very soon.
And Johan Vanderbilt.
First driver to make our second scheduled stop comes in is Fabian Jungbluf. It won't
Morgan
be a short
goes
stop,
around.
obviously. Yep. He'll have to fill the car up from him. Well, mind you, only 17 minutes left.
A little less than a full fill.
Alright, so I wouldn't be surprised if one of our leaders come in. However, I'm slightly concerned over how this went last time, that if Burns messes up pit entry, Dennis Garrison might regret following him in.
Yeah, I think as long as he negotiates pit entry, okay, he'll be fine. We look at this battle, boy, this is getting close. Okay, this will be interesting. I think this is a great move from Garrison because I think Garrison was faster. If he can get one lap in, he might be able to. What is that? The undercut? Is that what it would be? I guess it'd be the overcut.
No, it would be the overcut. But the other question is, what about tyres? I don't think either of them took tyres on their first stop. I can tell you, Burns is we can see Burns is not going up on the track, fuel only. And the great news for Burns, with Juice Strong coming in from third, he'll come out and he's in absolutely no traffic.
Yeah, Burns is clear, and Garrison is out there hot lapping as well. But I'm telling you, Garrison was faster than Burns. Now, here's the deal. Burns will have a full tank. His car will be heavier. Garrison will get to run this lap a little bit lighter. I think Garrison's got a chance of jumping him. Hoffler-Dason had pulled right in behind Ludwig Sauer, could not get around Sauer, so he decided to come in, negotiates pit lane much better than he did the first time.
Yeah, John Morgan in as well. Hoffler-Dason was right on Sauer's gearbox, so that will definitely be interesting to see how those two come out relative to each other.
And again, Sauer's car will be lighter, but Hoffler-Dason is just naturally faster. And here is Garrison. Garrison's still working negotiating that lap.
Yeah, but he's coming right into Murray's here. Like I say, Bill, I don't think they're the widest pit windows here, so I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in this lap. So, he can get another lap out of it.
This is bad news for Burns. I'm going to give you the interval here. It's 22 seconds between them. Let's see if because there's nobody between Garrison and Burns right now, even though Burns has taken a second stop. Let's see if that interval is going up or down. 22.3 looks like it's holding pretty steady. It is really a fast stop, though. Burns' stop was about 5 seconds on his last run through. Boy, the interval remains the same for between Garrison and a mistake from Garrison, and that could be all David Burns needs to do. It didn't cost him that much time, maybe about a half second.
Well, but if it does cost him the lead, then Burns will be in the pressure, because it seems the lead has been the worst position to be in during this race. Thomas Kick just went very wide in the final turn, and actually comes into the pits. I know this is because he hasn't pit yet, but can we give a shout out to Josh Brain, currently riding in 5th?
Woohoo! Staying out there on the lead lap, at least for now. He's actually ahead. He is behind Burns, so when he does make a stop, he'll go a lap down. Oh, the gap now 21.7 seconds between Garrison and Burns. Garrison losing time. Coming in this time.
Yeah, let's see if he's been able to save fuel during these runs. I mean, he only has to put enough fuel in his car to run for 13 more minutes.
Burns now.
Quick stop.
Coming up to the left-hander that sets it up onto the front straight, the center straight. Here he comes. Rolling his Garrison. Here comes Burns. Garrison's going to get out on the track first, but Burns going to have the momentum. There goes third degree.
Alright, now Garrison is going to have lost a little bit of temperature in his tyres, so he might not be quite up to speed this lap or next. And Burns holds the lead. This is where Burns cracked under pressure earlier. He does a much better job this time.
That little spin that we saw Garrison have, the little miscue, that cost him a spot. Sauer is in. What I'd like to do is do the same thing we just did by picking up Mikkel Hofladezen. Hofladezen is in the
He's not in his car. He's in the pits, but he's not in his car. He must have had some kind of incident. I think this is a result of a tow that Michael Hofladezen is in the pit.
Yep, Hofladezen had... boy, this is another mistake he had after the one we saw. So he's done. I can report that Juice Junk had a spin, but he's still racing in third. Welcome to the club.
Somehow, if Hofladezen is out, that's only our fourth retirement of a race, drawing in Johan van den Velde, Rodrigo Capelletto, and Vincent Brim.
Everybody has made their second stop now. With just over 10 minutes of racing to go, let's go ahead and run down the field, the guys who are still racing. Okay, it is your leader is going to be David Burns as he comes across the line right now. Chasing him down is Dennis Garrison, but the gap is just a tick under 2 seconds. He's been in third the entire race. Juice Junk back there. 27 seconds behind Garrison, 19 seconds up on the man racing in third. Fourth, Ludwig Sauer. Sauer is safe now that Hofladezen has had an off.
Oh, no, he's off.
And he loses a spot. He does not. I believe Ludwig Youngbluth goes right by him. Youngbluth moves up into fourth. Ludwig Sauer now drops down to fifth. A little bit of a run through the field curse there. So Youngbluth in fourth, Sauer in fifth. Mr. Consistency, the man who's racing near and dear to my heart, John Morgan, back there in 177 machine. I don't think he's made one mistake. Can't wait to see how many incidents he has. He's back in sixth position. Josh Brain, did he stay on the lead lap? I guess he did. In seventh. Round out the cars that are racing on the lead lap, Thomas Kick and Neil Bamber. 10 minutes of racing to go.
Now what would be a great idea, Bill, on iRacing, almost like a blackjack kind of series. The driver who gets the most amount of incident points without being disqualified gets a bonus point at the end of the race.
There's the Brazilian diver Paulo Prado out there. What we call getting the Dory Award. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. If you're a fan of Finding Nemo, you know what that means. Just putting in the laps. 2 laps down right now in 12th. Make that 11th.
Yeah, he gets by the park car of Hofladezen in the pits there. And again, even though that's the last place today, let's not downplay an 11th place finish in the grand scheme of things compared to the races where we go the more popular racetracks where there's going to be bigger fields. That 11th place finish is still going to help you in the points against those guys. Yeah,
and he's in the hunt for the F2 championship. He's sitting down there in 5th position. So yeah, he's going to do great. That's going to be a nice points day. So when all this settles down, I think it's going to come down to whether Garrison can catch Burns here in the next 9 minutes. Youngbluth looks to be safely faster than Sawyer. I think Sauer's going to sit down in 5th position. That's where he's going to sort out. Despite the small field and all the miscues, it's been a fun race to call. It's had a lot of drama. And we're not done yet. Anything can happen.
Yeah, there's been a lot fewer miscues at this point in the race, Bill. I wonder if that's because drivers, they've learned this track. The tyres aren't exactly cold anymore. However, the circuit will be getting quite a bit dusty, I'm sure, from where drivers have gone off a racetrack, kicked mud and dirt over the circuit. iRacing does simulate that so that we'll create some slippery portions on the circuit. The lead between our top 2 drivers here has extended another half a second. David Burns now holding a 2.4 second lead at the line over Dennis Garrison with less than, well, hold on. Wait 2 seconds. Here we go. Less than 8 minutes to go.
Can we go ahead and put up the triple graphic and then put the camera on Juice Junk? We really haven't talked much about him except when we did a run through the field. I'd like to show you the interval between the driver in front of him and the driver behind him. Talk about a guy who was all by himself. 29 seconds up to Garrison, 21 seconds back to Youngbooth. Yes, he's got the racetrack to himself.
I think Junk would appreciate this race. Like we say, he's normally the driver having the chaotic races out there. Sometimes they end well, sometimes they don't. Today he's had a quiet race. He's probably bored. He's like, man, I didn't know races could be like this.
Yeah, it's a different sport. Gives us an opportunity, maybe look for our hard charger. I see up 6 spots. It looks like it's John Morgan, 12th to 6th. Yeah, we'll give him that credit for that one today.
Not the guy right behind him. Josh Brain up 8 positions.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's even better than Morgan's. Good call.
Garrison took 6/10 out of Burns that lap around. So that gap is definitely still fluctuating here.
Well, let's go up to the leaders right now because they're coming on the back of the last car on the lead lap. This is Neil Bamber. I just don't expect this to be an issue at all as Burns getting around Bamber. Neil has been in multiple Formula Eagle races. He knows how to get at it.
And I mean, even though he's the last car on the lead lap without much cars behind him, again, Neil Bamber's still running in 9th place. I'm sure he would have liked better had it not been for a couple of misfortunes earlier on, but you know, that's still a decent pool of points to take with you into the next event.
There he does a good job of lifting and he lets the leader go by. Garrison did not make it yet, but he'll try to get out of the way here for Garrison and not hold him up either. Garrison not there yet, and now Bamber takes an easy... Folks, if you're watching and you're a back marker, it's kind of how you do it. Make your move clear and decisive, and if you can't stay on the racing line, you pull over like that, make sure they know what you're doing. Well done. We don't see Neil Bamber at many Back Markers United meetings, so you're probably not going to get any of the fancy pastry when he shows up. But if he does, make sure you put him in the comfortable chair.
Dennis Garrison is after a fancy trophy because now that gap between Burns and himself is only 1 second. It was 1.1 seconds at the line, so he's definitely closing in. Now let's see if Burns has anything left in reserve. When they crossed the line last lap around, there was about 5 minutes left on the clock. That's about enough time for 4 more laps here. Hopefully they've all got enough fuel on board, so they're working about 3.5 to go where they are right now. At the line, there'll be 3 laps to go.
You know, I think this is a case of different setups for the car when it is different weight. Garrison seems to be quicker than Burns at the end of the stint. Burns seems to be faster than Garrison at the beginning of the stint. So here comes Dennis right now. This is similar to what we saw before they came into pit stops, where Garrison was able to run down Burns and put the pressure on. Garrison stayed out 2 laps longer with lighter fuel, but made a mistake while trying to hot lap, and that's, I think, what cost him not being able to come out after the pit stops in front. Sam's done the math for you as far as the clock goes.
Yeah, here we go. 3 laps left to go at the line. You see, it's not by much. It takes about 1 minute 40 seconds to do a lap around here. So in 2 laps' time, they'll be crossing the line with about 10 or 20 seconds left on the clock. And that's dangerously close to making me wonder if some drivers didn't anticipate an extra lap going on at the end.
And with absolutely no battle going on the track anywhere else. We're going to be able to focus our attention up here on the front for the final 3 minutes as we watch Dennis Garrison trying to run down David Burns. Garrison also has his team in the team championship as well, although he doesn't have a partner. If he could pick up a partner that would give him a little more points, be more of a threat there. The gap, 1 second between Burns and Garrison.
Running down the back straight once again. And right before the braking zone, as they go under the bridge here, the speeds these cars are able to reach, even though they're, lower powered open wheel cars, they're still hitting 150 miles an hour right before they get into this braking zone. So they're still hauling, and that's why that chicane has been quite tricky for some drivers today.
Now they go through the bomb hole. Into the sweeping right-hander. Now the 90-degree left-hander that is Murray's. Both drivers negotiate that okay.
Here we go. We're completing lap number 35 of what will be a 37-lap race. When they cross the line next time by, there'll be 10 seconds left on the clock. So my concern is drivers who tried splitting this race up into 12-lap stints, thinking the race would end on lap 36.
Going to be disappointed. Burns goes a little bit wide there. Out of the Wilson hairpin. Able to knock off a couple tenths is Garrison. He's got it under a second now.
Keep an eye on this battle. It's definitely the better one, but we should make note that if Fabian Jungbluth so much as puts a wheel off, Ludwig Sauer would still be over the back of him for 4.
We'll take a quick peek at that one. Keep an eye on that one. It's nice to check in on them because that's a battle we had been following. Sauer had that till he made the mistake, and Jungbluth capitalized on it. Meanwhile, back up front, Burns had a nice run through the twisty section, has opened it up to a second. These cars are so equally paced.
It's also worth noting, Bill, if these two didn't exist and Drew Stronk was leading this race, this would be the final lap. That's right, because these guys are ahead by half a minute. Here they go, through Maurice. Hopefully both these two stay out on the track and we get a good old showdown for 1 lap left here at Snetterton.
They got Thomas Kick ahead of them, but I think Kick's going to get out of the way. Not sure even they're going to catch him or not. 1.1 second now. Burns over Garrison. Burns seeming to mind the gap, like they say in London too. Kick racing in 8th position, the last car on the lead lap. I do think they are going to get to Kick. Gap now under a second. About half a lap to go. They come up on the back of the Strudelmeister. You can't make your car invisible. It takes up space. It has to go somewhere. Okay, that may have held up Burns a little bit. Okay, that's holding up Burns a lot. It's now down to 0.8 of a second. Now Thomas gets out of the way. A little bit more of a lift, and he lets Garrison go by as well. 0.8 of a second, about 4 car lengths now. Down to 0.6 of a second. He's coming, but he's running out of time. 2 more corners for David, 3rd degree Burns, the sweeping right-hander. Then the 90-degree left-hander that is Murray. Here comes Garrison. He's a car length back. Too little too late. Round number 3 of Formula Eagle goes to David, 3rd degree Burns. Dennis Garrison gets 2nd. Let's go ahead and jump back and check in on the Sawyer, see how he's doing.
Jungbluth was able to pull out a few tenths on him last lap around. Drew Stronk should easily be able to get third position far up the road ahead of them. So this is where the battle's at for fourth place as they run down the back straight one more time. Ludwig Sauer, though, a little bit too far back to make a strike into the chicane. He's going to have to make a mistake out, hope for a mistake out of Dream Blue. He's putting the pressure on. That's one way to force the drive into a mistake, but Dream Blue still with about 5-10 car lengths advantage, providing he takes it conservatively through Maury here, keeps it on the racetrack. He should be able to bring home his fourth place finish, which is quite staggering considering the fact he started 11th. What a race by Fabian Dreambluth. He'll get fourth, Sauer fifth.
And let's go ahead and put the camera on John Morgan, up 6 spots. The cleanest driver of anybody, just has one more left-hander to negotiate. Don't make a mistake now, John. All right, nothing but the checkered flag in front of you. You're going to get a 6th position, a nice points day. Josh Brain, the last car on the lead lap, brings it home in 7th. The racing is over here at Snetterton, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break, but we will come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, whoever wants to come in. Boy, we'd love to talk to you. And then put a lock on the gate. We'll be back in a few.
The stakes have never been higher. The competition has never been stronger. 42 drivers, 25 rounds. One will be crowned champion. Competition, commitment, excitement. This is Lionheart. Tune in Wednesday nights on the iRacing Esports Network to watch the cars and stars of Lionheart, the Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment.
Beginners League. This is GSRC's coverage coming your way on IESN of Formula Eagles Round 3 from Snetterton. Let's talk a little bit about IESN. For over a decade, iRacing has been at the vanguard of esports racing. And if you haven't done so yet, you can join the iRacing community and compete online against thousands of players in the world's most realistic racing simulation. The best of the best in iRacing World Championships, as well as many top private leagues like the one you've just watched, are showcased right here on the iRacing Esports Network. GSRC is proud to be part of the IESN stable of broadcasters. Let's run down your finishing order of round 3 here in Formula Eagle. David Third Degree Burns was able to make a few mistakes. He made less mistakes than Dennis Garrison. Burns gets the win, 0.3 of a second ahead of Garrison. Juice Junk had a nice quiet run all by himself. He gets the final podium spot. Fabian Lungbluth and Ludwig Sauer went swapping positions all races long. Ludwig Sauer is going to get 5th, just behind Fabian Lungbluth. The back half of your top 10, John Morgan, in my opinion, the star of the show. Josh Brain, Thomas Kick, Neil Bamber. Kick and Bamber both 1 lap down. And then finally in 10th position, the last car 1 lap down, Richard Cologne. Sam?
Yeah, Paulo Prado was the last driver to make it the finish. He sustained a bit of damage that he was carrying for a lot of the race. Michael Hafler-Dayson, things were going his well up until the first pit stop, made a mistake on pit entry that essentially ended his day in the long run. Johan van den Belde, coming back from the party, didn't have a whole lot of time to practice, was doing well at the start, but as he mentioned during our broadcast, it kind of fell apart after that. He'll be ranked in 13th position, ahead of Rodrigo Capoledo and Vincent Brain, who were out early on, and one Louis Falcon did not get the start.
All right, I have the opportunity to talk to our race winner, David Burns. Congratulations, David, on the win. Hey, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but watching from an outsider, I had the impression that Garrison was faster at the end of a stint, and you were faster at the beginning. Is that kind of your take too, or not?
I think Dennis was just faster, full stop, mate. That was. I don't think I've ever sweated so much in my life in one of those races. That was a push, but yeah, there was areas where he was faster, but I was struggling with consistency. My lap times weren't quite as consistent as they should be. So yeah, he was faster overall, though.
Okay, I got a couple more things to talk about. Let's talk about 2 pit stops. Let's talk about the first one. That was a fun pit entrance there when you had a car perpendicular. You had to wait for that one to clear.
Do you know, I've never ever had that circumstance, and part of me thought, can I drive through him? Because I know in the pits that you get through it, when I thought, no, I'd better come to a complete halt. Thankfully, you got it out the way, but it did make me lose a bit of time.
And then the second one that really had me worried is when you came in 2 laps earlier than Garrison. Garrison made a mistake while he was hot lapping out there. Otherwise, I really thought he might have been able to jump.
Yeah, I'd watched the pits times because when he came out, his first pit stop, he was 20.5 seconds ahead. And when I was coming into the pits again the second time, when he was going in, I saw 22.5, and I thought, no, he's going to come out ahead. So when I passed and he was 1.8 behind me, I thought, yeah, he's made a mistake somewhere. So thankfully.
Well, it was a fun race. Boy, this track was really beating you guys up. We had Johan van den Belde come in and talk to us. He had a miserable race. He thought it was just a combination of the temperature and just the newness of the track. Is that kind of your take?
Yeah, I think so. Vincent and I were talking about it because Vincent doesn't like this track, hence why he just quit. He just gave up. I said to him, it's the biggest collection of awkward corners in any circuit.
Well, it made for an entertaining show. I know sometimes the tracks that the drivers hate the most puts on the best show. So congratulations on getting a win. It's been a while. Way to go.
Thanks, guys.
David Burns picks up the win here today, and he'll move up the charts a little bit. Sam, who you got?
Well, we got Thomas Kick, finished 8th place today after starting 10th, but it wasn't exactly a quiet race. Thomas, you want to take us?
Yeah, thank you very much. No, it was definitely not one of my races that was pretty stable. I struggled a lot with my consistency, and it was very hard for me to concentrate with today. I didn't put enough practice, I think, in it during the week, and that just pays off, especially in this track now. I had a lot of trouble holding the car straight, and then I think at the end David came up. I saw him coming up, but I didn't expect him to be that quick, that close to me. And I think maybe I hold it up a little bit, so sorry for that. But Yeah, I mean, it was still fun. It was a very fun race. Very exciting to battle with the guys. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun at least.
How do you feel about the position you ended today? Because, 8th place when there are only 11 cars running at the end might not be great, but it's still an 8th place finish. That's still a good amount of points.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Maybe it's one of my highest position in ABL I had. It's when I started the race, I thought about what to do. My gain was my goal was keep it steady, wait what's going to happen, don't push it too much, because I already struggled during practice. Track was slippery. Track changed condition a lot, because the temperature of the track, I think, has a lot of influence on the surface, especially on this track. And after my second pit stop, I struggled a lot. Maybe I had a one-off track. Maybe the car got a little bit damaged. I am still very happy to at least be in the top 10. That's more or less my goal every race I'm driving now. Let's keep it in the top 10. Yeah, but if I hadn't had my mistakes, I would be at least 3 or 4 positions at least higher. Maybe even P5 would be possible. No, I'm happy. I'm happy I finished the race actually.
Yeah, it seemed quite a challenge out there. We definitely saw a lot of drivers spinning off, having slides. But like you say, you're able to bring it home. Not only bring it home, but bring it home in the top 10. Well, congrats, Thomas, and thanks for coming to talk to us.
Yes, thank you very much. Have fun.
It was good to talk to the Strudelmeister there. Before we close up shop, I want to make a report. We talked about all the incidents going on and the race that John Morgan had. How about a perfect incident-free race from John Morgan, as he not only does that incident-free, but he picks up a 6th place finish as well. Congratulations to him. The Absolute Beginner League, I'd like to thank them for organizing Formula Eagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the company's equipment and software you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching at GSRC Productions comes courtesy of Eric Lalonde and Eric Echolm and June Lalonde. See the screen to how to contact each of them. Formula Eagle returns in 2 weeks. That'll be March 17th for round 4 from the tight and bumpy confines of Detroit's Belle Island. GSRC will be there. We hope you join us. Next up on IESN will be GSRC's round 9 coverage of the Weekend Warriors going on right now from Phillip Island. So after you hear this broadcaster use the closing line, jump on over for some SRF action. Sliding across your screen now are just some of the upcoming broadcasts. So check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you want more information about us, I got lots of options. Easiest one, globalsimracingchannel.com. But we got some social media options as well. How about Twitter, GSRC channel, GSR channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_gram. And if you haven't done so yet, why don't you head on over to our YouTube page and become a GSRC YouTube subscriber by hitting the big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Sam, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching as David Third Degree Burns becomes our 3rd different winner in 3 races this season, getting to the checkerfight first here at Snetterton. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.